What is up, everybody? I'm going to be giving you a full breakdown of this upcoming UFC card, UFC 226, the great Max Holloway versus Charles Oliveira. Can't even wait for that. But we're going to break down the whole fight in totality. I'm going to give you guys as much insight as I possibly can. I'm going to tell you guys the ones that I'm not too confident on, but I'll give you a pick anyway. Or there might be some, if I really look at them, I might not give a pick at all. And I'll leave it up to you guys in the comments. But starting off here, first card in the early prelims, it is a fat card. One of those ones with the early prelims, the prelims, and the main card. I honestly don't like when they do that. I do not. Reason being is because there's just too much going on. There's just too much going on. Actually, I don't even know if I believe that because I do like early prelims, actually. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm just waffling to start the video. I'm just saying some shit. I am fluent in Japanese. But anyway, starting off here with Luke Fernandez versus a guy I do not like, Rodolfo Bolanos, or Rodolfo Bellato, sorry. If you guys remember, he had that little interesting thing with Paul Gregg, the draw, no contest there. And then he had the draw with Jimmy Crute. Yeah, man. What have we seen from the guy? He came into the UFC 2023, knocked out Eeyore. Didn't have any fights in 2024. Something got canceled. Yeah, like I said, the draw versus Jimmy Crute, the no contest draw versus Paul Craig, round one. I mean, this guy doesn't need to be in the UFC, in my opinion. He lost his last fight versus Navajo Sterling. And now he's fighting Luke Fernandez, who this is going to be his first fight in the UFC. You guys probably have picked up on the vibe, man. When somebody's coming into the UFC, most of the time they get kind of, they kind of get one of those guys that they can hopefully put out. But then sometimes those guys feel some type of way about that, and they end up fucking up the new toy, essentially, as Dan Hooker once said about Michael Chandler, except then he ended up getting fucked up. How did that ever even happen, bruh? Dan Hooker is one of them guys that could have had a career, but just, I don't get it. I don't know if he just doesn't care enough. He loves fighting, but I don't know if he loves getting better at fighting. That was a bar. But here we go. We're looking at Fernandez here. This is him and Cage Fury. UFC posted this. I think the caption is something that Luke Fernandez was a beast before the UFC or something. That was a clean uppercut. I mean, you guys do got to understand also in these organizations, a lot of times they're fighting absolute nobodies. We'll take a deeper look here at his record while this is playing. So he's 7-0. First fight versus Derek Overstreet, 1-1. Okay. Let's take that into consideration, right? So here's New, right? So New was New. He's 0-2. Okay. So this was his second loss ever. So how are you 0-1 and then you get a title fight in Cage Fighters? I mean, or is that's what this organization is, right? Yeah. Like, I just don't get that. Like, I could get in there. I mean, just throw me the fuck in. What the hell? They're also sponsored by OnlyFans. I don't like that. I don't support OnlyFans at all. But if you're an OnlyFans model and you are somehow interested in MMA, I'm not going to hate on you. You can still follow me and shit. Here's Ellis. Here's Fernandez versus Greg Ellis, who this guy was 0-5. So let's see what an 0-5 guy looks like. That's what he looks like. Okay. Sick. I didn't know there was a Hard Rock in Atlantic City. Cage Fury. And then here he is on the Contender Series versus Rafael Pegrotino. I don't know. That guy is also 5-1. So this was probably his obviously best opponent. And I don't know, but that guy still didn't look ready for the moment at all. But dude's clearly got power. You can't deny that. I've seen plenty of people who cannot fight for shit, but they can be a fucking dummy and take some hits. But if you got power, it doesn't matter if you're that dummy. That guy will still put you to sleep, and that looks like what Luke Fernandez is doing. So that's why I will be taking him over Bellato. Pretty simple. I don't even really want to look over. I don't even want to watch anything of Rodolfo. But to show you guys what happened with him versus Paul Craig, we will do that. Where's the U? Holy. On my Xbox, so understand that this is not going to be quick searches. We are getting it out the mud, ladies and gentlemen. Not really, man. First world problems. I just said I'm getting it out the mud with an Xbox. I know people in Haiti that have never had an Xbox in their life, so guess I shouldn't be saying that. So don't be spoiled. Deal with my slow search, all right? You guys will be absolutely fine, man. You really will. Why does it take so long though to find shit on this type of keyboard? Okay, so here's this. Discretion, which would be Kevin McDonald, is a DQ or if he deems it accidental, a no contest. Let's find out who's chosen for that. Joe Martinez. Let's take a look at this. I don't know what this video is. Right now, folks, Adolfo Bellato is sorry. Very good job. The deeper the weeds get, issue with this training camp. I don't even want to finish that video. Rodolfo has no head movement. Luke Fernandez is going to put him out. That's my pick. Moving on. I shouldn't have even spent so long on that dumbass fight, to be honest. Hope you guys appreciate my real breakdown there because that fight wasn't even deserving of it. Fucking Rodolfo sucks, in my opinion. Moving on. I do not know these cats. All right, that video was gay. So I can't even find a video on this fucking guy, man. What the hell? So just off rip, I almost don't want to pick that guy. But again, I don't know who he's fighting. Gaston. I don't fucking know Gaston, man. Shit. He has a submission loss versus Lei Quang, who I do know. Fuck. Let's look at his fight history. Beat Cortavius. He beat. Oh, he lost to Marcus McGee. Yeah, that makes sense. I was about to say, if he beat Marcus McGee, that's absurd. Win over Aaron Phillips, 12-5. I mean, fuck. I don't know. Shit. I almost don't want to pick anything on that, but maybe for the fun of it. No, I don't know, man. These guys suck. Fuck. I don't fucking know. Y'all got to pick on that one. I don't know. I think in my other video that I posted on the Brandon Moreno Kavanagh post fight analysis on the quick little prediction I gave in that video. I don't know who I chose. I think I chose somebody, but that fight is just I don't understand who those guys even are, man. Those are just the types of guys you fight early in your career on career mode in UFC. You just don't know who they are. Going to the next one is a pretty fun fight. We got a 22-year-old Rafael Tobias who's 14-1. This will be his first appearance. His his nickname is bipolar. I like that because I'm bipolar. So off rip, we're rooting for Rafael because of that. But we'll take a look at Dyer, who has a submission loss versus Iran and has a submission win. Oh, actually, no, another submission loss versus Bredson. So this guy's 0-2 in the UFC. So you see what I'm saying? When somebody seems like a cool little prospect that they're putting in for their first time in the UFC, they usually get somebody that at any moment, UFC's ready to let him go so they don't have to keep paying him. Raphael has a half inch over 74 and a half reach, and Dyer has a 74-inch reach, so pretty close there. They're pretty same height. No, they are the same height. Dyer's only 28, so he's still a young cat, 10-2. So before the UFC, he was 10-0, and then he just got in the UFC and he just hasn't had success. Will young cat Rafael Tobias show him what it's like to have that early success in the UFC? Um, let's take a look at some of it. Let's take a look at some things here. Let's go search up Wrath here. Uh, oh my gosh, this keyboard is so hard sometimes, brother. And I don't know if I'm just a fucking idiot or what, but it's hard for me to find the letters sometimes, dog. But on like my phone or on like a computer, I'm typing fast as shit, boy. But this, golly, I'm slow on the Xbox. So here's Rafael Tobias. Should we just watch this MMA highlights? Or should we watch a real full fight? Rafael Tobias wins. Let's see this. We got some AI commentary. That's nice. Double hooks. Looks like he goes to the rear naked. That's beautiful. Let's take a look here. Good body knee. Takedown. Oh, he likes to lace the legs, Habibi style. Anybody who laces those legs is a good grappler, a very good grappler. But again, He's fighting a guy named Cena. This guy's not real. Let's go look at that. Let's go look at that guy Cena because that guy just named himself that after John. Nobody else actually has that name. Cena was 0-1. So yeah, I mean, you got to think about that when you're fighting these guys. But he actually does have a lot of fights here just against people that aren't great. Yeah, I mean, a lot of fights for a prospect. 14, it's a good little number. But yeah, like I said, I mean, you're gonna probably just have to assume none of these guys have real records. Um, that's the end of that video. Apparently, cool. That just ended on a fucking moment's notice. Let's go to his fight before the contender series. It was against Wellington Lopez, 12-5. Okay, so he's fighting some people, but then yeah, right before that, Marcelo. This guy has 7 names: Marcelo Alejandro Nunez Sparling El Perdo Loco. He's 9-6. So yeah, so he hasn't fought many great people, but I'm sure the same for Dyer. I'm not gonna go look. No, I will go look, I suppose. Just real quick, because he hasn't won since the contender series. So let me see what he was doing before that. Before that, he had a fight in the UAE Warriors 50 versus Emiliano Sordi, who is 24-13. It's a lot of fights. And then before that was a title fight against this, like, see, some Russian dude, 0-6, Constantine. What the fuck? That's a real name. And that was in Eagle FC. So isn't that Habib shit? So if you're coming from there, you know that that's some bullshit. And he had before that, he had some fights in Eagle FC. So he's from Kazakhstan. So he's also a wrestler, but we saw Tobias had some wrestling. So yeah, I'm going to go Tobias. I'm going to go Tobias. Maybe even by a submission, kind of like what we saw in Contender Series, possibly. But let's move on. Fuck, man. This is going to be an incredibly long video. Holy cows. Holy cows. I'm going to have to edit the shit out of this. And I don't like editing. So I might not even. I might just let it roll. And this is what I'm thinking about. I got to start going live for some fight parties because, those are videos still too that will be on my YouTube. The lives are there forever. And then the last fight on the early prelim, we got Sue versus Jesse Aguilar. Jesse Aguilar has been in the UFC since 2023. Got submitted by Tatsu Atara, knocked out Shannon Ross. Beat Mendonca in a decision, submitted Stuart Nickel, lost to Rafael Estavam in a decision, beat Luis Grulli in a decision. And now here we are in 2026 versus Sue. Sue has been in the UFC since 2018. Fought Louis Schmolka, lost in a submission. Fought Andre something last name, beat him in a decision. Knocked out Malcolm Gordon. Won a decision over fucking some cat, 4-4 in the UFC. What the hell? Lost a submission to Matt Schnell. I mean, this guy fights once a year. That's not good enough. Lost a submission to Tim Elliott. Lost in a decision to Charles Johnson. Won a decision versus Mitch Raposa. Won a decision versus Kevin Borgas. Kevin Borgas is who almost just fucking knocked out Emanol. Let's go take a look at that fight. because Borgas has some good striking. So let me see how Sue dealt with that. He won a decision. Oh, I fucking started spelling the name wrong. Damn it. Kevin Borgas versus Ronaldo Rodriguez. What? When did that happen? That happened this year or 2025? He won that? Huh. Well, let me look up Kevin Borgas versus Sue. So Sue throws a lot of kicks because this is a whole fucking compilation of kicks. I didn't want no copyright on that. Shit, man. His striking kind of looks pretty good, but he just doesn't. I don't know. He just doesn't come off very. Like I don't know. Fuck, I'm having a hard time with this fight. Having a hard time with this fight. This might be one of those ones we leave up to the comments. And I roll with y'all's pick, man, because I'm over here giving you guys picks. So it's only right that occasionally I roll with y'all's picks. If we win together. If we lose, we'd be sad together. This is Aguilar versus Ross. Wow. Did he just try to help him up or what the fuck was that? Big overhand right. Clipped him on the chin. Tried to help him up afterwards. Knockout of the year. John Anik just be fucking talking, man. What? That was the knockout of the year? You're wildin', bruh. Okay, so Jesus Aguilar is such a great wrestler, is what DC was just saying right there at the end. So oh, I just watched that or whatever. Oh, but Aguilar's got some spinning shit too. What in the fuck? I don't recall that shit. I watch so many fights, man. It sometimes it gets I get lost in who I've actually watched before. Um, I don't know. I'm not gonna look up too much more into that. I'm gonna go with Sue. I'm gonna go with Sue because apparently Jesus is a grappler, is what DC was saying at the end of that video. Um, and he is. He's got some submission victories, and in his decision victories, such a great grappler. Rafael Estavam took him down 11 out of 19 times. So yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna go with Sue because those kicks looked very dynamic. That side kick, the teep kicks, those are great ways to keep wrestlers away. If he sets up the leg kicks, those make it really hard for the wrestler to move. Um, I didn't see much on Jesus Aguilar right there, but what I did see on that overhand right is that it's good to drop. Nah, I don't believe it is. You could throw the overhand without completely fucking looking down and dropping your chin. Um, because at the same time, if somebody registers that it takes a quick clinch to the knee, that overhand doesn't even really connect. So I don't know. He didn't look good enough to me. I'm gonna take the the Tibetan Eagle, whatever that fucking means. I don't even know if I said that right, but that's Sue. We're taking Sue. Okay, we're finally on to just the prelims, no longer early. This is kind of what I guess I was saying is it's just I like early prelims, but damn man, it's a lot. It is a lot. Cody Durden versus man, I can't even attempt to say that shit, dog. He's got a huge reach on Cody Durden though. He has one win in the UFC. His only fight has a submission over Terrence. Cody Durden been around since 2020. Really just kind of a journeyman, has gotten knocked out and finished quite a few times. Um yeah, so based on that alone, it's one of those ones where it's an up and comer versus somebody that the UFC is waiting to cut. So we're gonna go with the guy's name that I have no idea how to pronounce. Let me try to sound it out. Nia Marshall Tumiter Brelin. Tum Tumiter Burl. I don't know, man. And I'm not gonna spend the time to type all that shit out. But his nickname is the Art of a Knockout. I like that. Yeah, we're going with him. We're just gonna roll with him. We're not gonna watch any videos. Uh, Cody Durden has a 67-inch reach. Nemajarl has a 71-inch reach, and Cody Durden looks like he's just being set up for one of those fights to put the young cat on. And so that's what's going to happen. The young cat's going to get put on, maybe knock out Cody or maybe submit him. Moving on. We got my boy Ricky, who I like. I like Ricky a lot. He's funny. He's an interesting guy. Um, but he has not had the career in the UFC that I was hoping he would have. Still young though. Still has opportunity. He got submitted by Raulo Rojas in 2025. Lost a decision versus Bernardo. Yeah, Ricky hasn't been what I've needed him to be. He was on the Ultimate Fighter, and I liked him. I liked his personality. He was a funny guy. I liked how he answered questions. He like really would take his time and kind of analyze the question and really break it down. But he hasn't yeah, he hasn't turned out to be what I was hoping he would be. And he's fighting Alberto Montez, who only has one loss, 11 wins. Up and comer in the UFC. First fight in the UFC officially. Um sure he has a contender series fight. He does. He won by submission round 2. Before that, let's look at some of the guys that he's fought. Kevin Garcia was the most recent fight before the contender series, who was 0-1. Adam Ortiz, 0-2. He lost to a guy named Irda, who is 3-2. And that was just in what year? That was in 2021, so I guess that was a little while ago. Took a year off, fought again 2023. 2 Darce chokes in a row. And then another submission. He's got a lot of submissions, so he appears to be a jiu-jitsu guy. He's from Venezuela. Man, I don't know who to pick in this one. Ricky's like a grappler too, but he's like not good at grappling. I don't know if that makes sense, man. Like he likes to grapple a lot, but I don't think he's that skillful in it. Shit, man, I might take Alberto. I don't even know if I want to watch anything on that either. I might just take Alberto. And then the next one, yeah, I think I'm just gonna roll with Alberto. I don't trust Ricky enough at this point. I don't know. Maybe I do. Fuck. Uh Man, they don't have shit posted on UFC. Fuck. All right, not sure what that video is. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm going Rodolfo. Or I'm not Rodolfo. My bad. Alberto Montez. Moving on. Dante Johnson versus Cody Brundage. Another one of those fights where they're trying to get Cody out of here. Dante has a submission over Cedricius Dumas. One of them cats, bro, who seems like he's gonna be so good, and then he just, I don't know, he just fucks up. But Cody Brundage, not very good. Hasn't ever been very good. So we're not even gonna look too deep into that. I'll show you who Dante Johnson is just for fun, real quick. I'm pretty sure you probably know who Cody Brundage is. If you don't need to know because yeah, he's 11-8. I mean, come on. I don't even know how that's in the UFC. So it looks like this is one of those fights. Dante Johnson probably goes, submits him or knocks him out, and then we move on. After the last time we saw him, DC back in September, could not continue. He said he wanted to show. All right. They got the commentary speaking in tongues in this video. That shit sound crazy. Are you hearing that? What the fuck? I don't think I can watch that video. Holy, that's a big fella. Man, come on. That guy has not ever fought in his life. They said, hey, bro, you want 250 bucks to go get knocked out real quick? He said, fuck it, I guess, man. Shit. Look at this. When they're fighting and the cameras aren't even focused, brother, you could bet they're fighting an absolute nobody, which is fine. You got to start somewhere. It's just such an interesting dynamic to me. It really is. And I also wonder, anybody who's at these fights, I wonder how many terrible fights you possibly see. Because how often is there this guy? You know what I mean? Who's just in there to just go put somebody's lights out real quick. Usually it's like some pud versus a pud. This fucker's big, bro. Oh my goodness, though. He looks terribly slow. The Dante Johnson looks very powerful, very explosive, in and out. But he's a little wild. Nah, I mean, we're taking him for sure to knock out Cody Brundage. I just wanted to show you guys a little bit of Dante Johnson in case you weren't aware of who he was, because many people aren't. He's only 7-0. Moving on to a interesting fight here with Cody Garbrandt. Again, no love. Trying to come back, man. He's 34 at this point. He's fighting Long Chow. Long Chow only has one fight in the UFC. It is a decision loss versus Yu Su Young. Crazy names, man. Crazy, crazy names. Cody Garbrandt, though, man, I don't know. There's not much to say about him. He's fucking been around since 2015. It's been a while at this point. He's 14-7. Uh, he hasn't done anything cool in a while. Lost a submission versus Davison Figueiredo, and lost a decision versus. When I say submission and decision, it almost sounds the same. I need to do a little bit better job of pronouncing those. I think I just picked up on that. Figueiredo submitted him. Renoy Barcelos got a decision, and it actually was a decently ish close fight, I suppose. But I'm not. I don't know. I'm not too hyped up on Barcelos either. So I don't know, man. It's probably gonna be Long Chow. He'll probably get his first UFC win over Cody Garbrandt. Um, I don't need to look at Cody Garbrandt. You guys know who Cody is. And I could go back and show the knockout versus Brian Keller or whatever, I suppose. And I could go show his sick performance versus Dominic Cruz. But then after that, what am I going to show? You know what I mean? So you guys know of him. Bro had the chance to be what I thought was a goat. And man, that just went just skyrocketed downwards. You see what I said there? Skyrocketed downwards. Wait, what? What is that fight even? Was that like his contender series fight or what the fuck was that? Wait, why is his record? Oh my gosh. Sometimes the records on Google uh they don't be correct and then when you click on their ESPN profile, sometimes it's different. So yeah, he does have a knockout in the UFC, which was over that fella. But then it says he has a title fight versus what? Dude, this can't be the right shit that I'm looking at. What is going on? What the fuck am I looking at? How does it say he has a title fight? UFC Fight Night, Whitaker. Bro, what? I so ESPN don't even be right. This should just be saying shit, man. Bro, my fucking iPad is bugging me. So that was his UFC debut. Okay, so I guess all right. So it won't be his first win versus Cody Garbrandt, but he will beat Cody Garbrandt probably by knockout. Moving on. To the main card. Um, not a great main card, but it's all right, I suppose. It's all right. Gregory Rodriguez versus Bruno Fietta. We got RoboCop versus the Hulk. So this should be interesting. Um, Bruno Fietta has some power. He's already knocked out Gregory way back in 2023, round one. Gregory was much younger then, but also so was Bruno Fietta. Um, he then got knocked out by Ruzabov, who's really good. He knocked out Phil Haas. He knocked out Dustin Stolvos. He lost a submission versus um yeah, Abus Magomedov. I don't know how to say his full name, so I'm gonna just call him Abus. I'm pretty sure that's what everybody else does anyway. He's got a submission over Armin Petrosian. He's got a submission over Jackson McKee. He's got a decision over Marvin Vittori. And then his fight with Paulo Costa was canceled. So Bruno Fietta is pretty good, 15-2. He's going to be at a reach disadvantage versus RoboCop. RoboCop, we know, obviously has fucking power in his hands. Recently beat Roman Kopylov, who I think is really good. Knocked out Jack Hermanson. We all remember that. Got knocked out by Jared Cannonier. We go to 2024, one versus Christian in a decision. Knocked out Brad Tavar. It knocked out. Oh my goodness, yeah. So great. Both these guys got some knockout power. So we can bet that. All right. The fight's not going to the distance. I bet it ends in a knockout. Personally, I really do not know who to take. I really don't. I don't even necessarily feel like we need to go back and watch fights. Um, I don't know, man. Freaking RoboCop is huge. 6'2" versus 5'8", bro. Fuck, dog. What the fuck? That's gonna be crazy. Both extreme power in their hands. Gregory's going to be throwing long, big strikes. Bruno's going to be trying to close that distance, that peekaboo style, throwing big hooks, probably big overhands, lunging uppercuts. I don't know. Um, yeah, I can't take a pick on that one. I just can't. But What I can do is definitely tell you that that fight's going to finish in a knockout, I believe. I don't believe Bruno will be able to take him down. I know Bruno has submission game. I don't believe he'll be able to take down Gregory. Gregory is probably just going to control that distance with his height and his reach. Um, and then I believe that if Bruno tries to get to that clinch, I think Gregory is just going to be too upright, too strong. Probably get a good collar tie, throw a big elbow over the top, maybe an uppercut underneath. I don't know if his clinch game is going to be successful with Gregory. Um, yeah, I almost want to lean towards Gregory, but I just can't fully. I just can't. But it will end in a knockout for sure. You guys can take that, I think. It will end in a knockout. Place that bet because I think it will happen for sure. I'm going to show you guys Gregory Rodriguez knocking out Jack Hermanson just because I want to show how bad Herb Dean is because I like to do that. Because growing up, man, we thought Herb Dean was the fucking guy, boy. We thought he was the one. We thought if it wasn't him as ref, then we were in trouble. But that's not the case, actually. If you're fighting and you see Herb, I'd be worried. A little MMA guru clip for you guys reacting to fucking this knockout. Hopefully I'm allowed to do this. I don't even know. Guru, if you somehow see this, don't fucking flag me or some shit if that's how that works. Why does it look so distorted? Maybe that's how we're allowed to do this. I guess this is how we're allowed to do this. I hope my other shit works because I didn't do that with the fights, but the fights already happened, so can't you watch? I don't know, bro. I don't know what's allowed when you react to shit on YouTube.
Good body shot from Gregory Rodriguez there. Come on, Jack. This one feels like it's going to have a sudden end. I just think we're going to have a sudden fucking end here out of fucking nowhere.
He was right.
From Jack Manson. Rodriguez. And he's pressuring him now. Oh, why? What happened? Oh, what a nasty knockout.
So that's how we all felt. Why the follow up? But the one who needs to get in there is fucking Herb, bro. He's just walking over to him, man. Look how long. Oh my goodness. So yeah, power in these boys' hands. I'm not going to take a pick, but I am going to take a knockout. So roll with that if you wish. Moving on to Drew Dober versus Michael Johnson, which is going to be a pretty fun fight of the journeymen here. 37 versus 39. Michael Johnson is a little bit taller than him and also has a bit of a reach on him. Michael Johnson was on a bit of like a return, right? He was starting to he still is starting to bounce back big. He beat Daniel Zellhuber. Shit. Daniel Zellhuber just out here losing to the fucking vets, dog. Yeah. Michael Johnson is still on his run, actually. I thought it got interrupted, but no, since 2024, he's got a decision versus Darius Flowers. He's got a knockout versus Ottman, and he has a decision versus Daniel Zellhuber. And now we're into 2026 here. He was supposed to fight Alexander Hernandez, another journeyman versus journeyman, but instead he gets journeyman Drew Dober, which Drew Dober still has that power in his hands. He got a knockout in his previous fight, but before that got knocked out by Manuel Torres in round one, got knocked out by Gene Silva, lost a decision to Renoito Macano, and he took a fucking beating on the ground, but only 23 significant strikes for Macano, but 142 total, which is absurd. I don't know how more of those don't become significant. But then before that, in 2023, knockout versus Ricky Glenn. Before that, knocked out versus Matt Favoya, who's not even very good. Drew Dober actually knocked out Bobby Green, though. Back in 2022, he knocked out Rafael Alves. He knocked out Terrence McKinney. There was a time where I thought Terrence McKinney was going to be really good. Lost a submission versus Drew versus Islam. Lost a decision versus Brad Riddle. This guy has been in the UFC since 20 fucking 13. That is just so crazy to me, dog. So crazy to me. I was 13 years old. This guy's still fighting. But guess how long Michael Johnson been in the bitch, man? 2010, brother. The hell? Shit is crazy, man. We're gonna take the hot man though. Pause. What the fuck? Not what I meant at all. He's on a streak, is what we meant. Okay. And I understand Drew Dober in 2025, his last fight. Well, wait, actually, was his last fight he got knocked out? Oh no, his last fight, yeah, he won by knockout. I see. So yeah, I understand he's coming off a knockout win, but before that, coming off a knockout loss, coming off a TKO loss, coming off a unanimous decision loss. We're gonna take the one who has 3 wins in a row, Michael Johnson, who also beat a younger guy in Daniel Zellhuber. I like to see that. I like to see the vets still able to put on with the faster men. And Michael Johnson has always been known for his quick striking, and I feel like he still looks pretty fucking quick. So we're gonna roll with Michael Johnson. Um, I'm not gonna go over fights. Like we're not gonna watch anything of them because they just have simply way too fucking many, and I don't know which one I would pick to show you guys anything. Um, and if you're watching this fight, I assume that you're a UFC fan. You know who Michael Johnson is, and you know who Drew Dober is. Moving on. Got Rob Font. Man, we got to watch Rob Font. He's not as good anymore at all. He also lost to David Martinez, just like Marlon did. Before that, he beat Gene Matsumoto. And then before that, he beat Kyler Phillips, 2024. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go. Yeah, it's at 21 versus fucking 38-year-old. I'm gonna go Raul, and I'm gonna go Raul probably by submission. He hasn't had a submission in a pretty long time. Not a pretty long time since 2024, but still. Um, he's had 2 decisions since then. So I'm gonna go Raul to get back on his submission game. He's gonna finish Rob Font by submission. We're not gonna look at anything either. Um, you guys know who Rob Font is. And because Raul started fighting in the UFC when he was 17 years old a few years ago, pretty much everybody knows who he is as well. So we don't need to look at that, I don't think. We really do not. But yeah, in that fight, I'm going to go ahead and take Rojas for a submission. Okay. Now we're getting into the good shit here that we really want to fucking actually talk about. We got Cal Baharlo versus RDR. Okay, that's a sick fight. But the way RDR performed against Brendan Allen makes me really question him. I thought RDR was coming in to be that fucking guy after beating Robert. And then he essentially, oh man, it's actually interesting. So I'm obviously, I'm kind of a wrestling guy. I liked Bo Nickel as a wrestler. As a fighter, I haven't liked Bo Nickel as much, but I've wanted him to figure it the fuck out. But his fight versus RDR looked horrific, man. It looked horrific. Um, I'm just a comedian, but Bo Nickel looked like a bitch versus RDR, simply. He broke down and looked like a little bitch versus RDR. But then what's interesting is then Brandon Allen went and flipped it on RDR after RDR beats Robert Whitaker, who I thought is still probably better than Brandon Allen. But Brandon Allen is, now become one of those guys who's very, very good. Seems like it anyway. But what he did to RDR, I mean, it was, guys, RDR landed 9 significant strikes out of 13 on Brandon Allen. It's fucking insane. That's a horrible performance. He said something like he was sick. I think he had a hard weight cut. I can't remember what the excuse was. Maybe it wasn't an excuse. Maybe it was valid. So maybe he's here to bounce back versus a guy that I don't think we really know too much of his grappling game. Cal Baharlo has very good striking, right? Very, very good striking. But I mean, we have not seen really any grappling from him as far as I'm aware. I guess that's not true. His decision over Armin Petrosian, he got 4 out of 5 takedowns. I wasn't aware of that, and he only landed 12 significant strikes that fight as well. So that looked like a little bit of a grappling match, I guess. He has a submission win versus Michael. Shit, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Cal does actually have some jiu-jitsu game or something, or some wrestling game or grappling or something. I wasn't aware of that. I mean, he knocked out Paul Gregg, and Paul Gregg took 6 takedown attempts and didn't get one. And we obviously know that that's all Paul Gregg's trying to do. But his last decision loss was versus Imanov, where he went 0 for 5 on takedowns. Um, so shit, man, I don't know. This should be an interesting fight. This should be an interesting fight. Let's look up some shit because I don't actually quite know what I'm feeling here. Let's look up some stuff. They have a full fight here. Started to man, I bro, RDR is looking way better in this fight than I recall. What in the fuck? When did this shit turn around against him? Like, so this is where things changed apparently. Uh, look at that. I mean, he couldn't even get up right there. That's from that grappling. So Brendan Allen was able to start turning some shit around. I remember the referee came in. I mean, yeah, look at this. I don't even know if he can continue. That's how fucking gassed out he is. Maybe he really was sick. Maybe he really was about to die. I don't know. And Cal Bahalo's not, he's not the same way, but apparently, based after some things that I looked at, he appears to be a more of a grappler than I expected. I didn't think I thought he probably didn't have fucking any grappling, but those fight nerds got a good team over there, a good camp. I'm sure they worked some things out. See, he leans with that knee to try to get to the clinch. I mean, like Bo looks like he's just fucking breaking here from the body. Looks like a bitch. Looks like a little weasel. What did he say about that?
Situations that I was to fight positions that I was fighting in my skill set and skill set. I should have been way further range movement. That he just has to expect.
Okay. Shout out to Arena Knockouts for this edit. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Baharlo because I think that RDR he is gonna be trying to get to that clinch with the knee, but I think Baharlo is just gonna be moving too much. I think he's just gonna be throwing too many kicks, too many kicks to the body. Um, yeah, I think he'll hurt RDR. I don't know if he'll finish RDR. I don't know, but I think it'll be a good fight. I hope RDR looks much better than he did versus Brandon Allen. Um, but like we just saw, he actually looked good those first 3 rounds. So maybe he wasn't lying about whatever happened with his weight cut or if he was sick or whatever the fuck. Um, maybe it really did hurt his cardio. I don't know. Either way, I'm gonna go Baharlo. And now the moment we've all been waiting for. The main event of the evening. Standing in this corner, Max Blessed Holloway versus Dude Bronx. The champion has a name. This fight's gonna be crazy. Going to be crazy. A rematch waiting to happen for a long time. Man, Charles obviously got knocked out versus Ilya, but then he submitted Gamrot. And Max, you probably obviously know what Max has been doing. He sent Dustin out on retirement, almost knocked him out, but it ended up going to decision. And he got hurt that fight. He got knocked down too as well. Yeah. So he got hurt that fight. Max's chin scares me because Max has taken so many strikes and he had never even been dropped. And then fucking Ilya sleeps him. You know what I mean? Um, but actually, I think versus Justin, he got knocked down too, but they didn't count it. But I think he even himself said he didn't know how that wasn't a knockdown. So we can kind of start to see Max's chin maybe not able to keep up. I wouldn't say that Charles still has this power in his hands. Um, I mean, he still obviously has knockout power, but it's been a while since he's really put somebody out like that on their feet or dropped them on their feet. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm gonna go with Max. If Max can hopefully stay off the ground, hopefully. If Max goes to the ground, I don't think really he has a chance. I mean, that's Volkanovski would work him in grappling. And yeah, I think I said that in my other video, but who's grappling are you taking, Charles or Volkanovski? You know, so I'm a bit worried if Max isn't able to stay off of the ground. I think if Charles tries to get him to the ground through the clinch, though, Max has some really good clinch work if it's in the middle. Hopefully, he can stay on his bike, stay off the cage, keep his back off the cage. If Charles gets him up on that cage, starts to work that body lock, it's gonna get dangerous, man. It's gonna get dangerous for Max. I don't feel confident in either of them. I probably won't actually be betting on this fight just because I'm just going to be a pure fan this fight. I do like Max Blessed Holloway way more than Charles. I like Charles obviously, but I've been liked Max for a very long time. I don't like Volkanovski actually because we were never able to get that W over him, man. 0-3 versus one guy, dog. Fuck, man. And I can't remember which one it is. Maybe it's the second fight where Max tries to get his belt back. I felt like Max won that fight. Um, but fucks it. Yeah. I don't not like Volkanovski. Volkanovski's sick, but I'll always have a piece of me that's like, fuck you, man. Because Max is just so damn good. But I was hoping he'd get that win over Ilya. Got knocked out versus Ilya, but he it hasn't deterred him, you know. went out and beat Dustin Poirier, who also cracks, obviously. So, and landed almost 200 significant strikes on him, 198. So the output is obviously always going to be there for Max. That's what maybe could fuck with Charles is that output. Um, yeah, for the video, I'm gonna take Max. I'm gonna take Max. But while watching the fight, I'm just gonna enjoy it honestly because it's kind of crazy that this is even happening. It's a cool fight. It's fucking awesome, and whatever happens with them, probably decides if I had to guess the next lightweight title shot. If I had to guess, which I don't know what's happening with Elia. I don't know if Elia is coming back to fight Justin or if Elia is possibly going up again to fight Islam. Um, Islam's manager Ali did post a few days ago or whatever. I can't quite remember what it said, but it was like big fight news coming up for Islam. Uh, the biggest fight everybody's been talking about, or I don't know. I said something like that. And in that case, it would probably have to be Ilya. So I don't know if Ilya is just going right up, which vacates his title, which makes if Justin doesn't have to fight Ilya before that, it just makes him undisputed, right? Or does he have to fight for the undisputed title versus somebody? I don't quite know how that works. Um, Arman is who should obviously be next, but I just don't know what's going on with Arman. I mean, I think Dana's just gatekeeping him or some shit. I don't know. I think then he goes and fucking punches Giorgio, which I wasn't mad at that, but I don't know when the UFC is worried about what might happen at an event because of you, and then you go to somebody else's event and you do all that. So I think between Max and Charles gets the next title shot. And if it doesn't have to be against Elia, then we could get a Max versus Justin rematch or Charles versus Justin rematch as well. Um, so that could be sick. If it does end up being Elia, maybe Elia and Justin fight, maybe Justin wins that, but I don't know. So if Elia ends up still being the lightweight champ, fuck, man, I am worried for Max getting slept again by Elia if that happens to happen. But this time it would be at lightweight. So yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting. I'll be tuned in, obviously. I know all you guys will be. I think I might actually do my first live watch party. Hopefully we can get, a couple little viewers in there, man. Couple homies to talk to, chop up some convo. And hopefully y'all have Paramount so you can watch with me because I know I obviously can't show the stream at the same time, which I think is stupid because Paramount is like $8 a month or whatever. If you're really gonna gatekeep your fucking live videos like that or whatever, I mean, come on. With with all the streams and shit that are out there and Paramount be $8, they should let me just show you guys what I'm watching. Um, but they don't. We'll have a watch party anyway. I'll try to do much better commentary than what we'll get from Daniel Cormier's dumbass. We love DC as a fighter, hate him as a commentator, man. Fuck. Dude just be waffling. Just be saying anything. That's the end of this video, man. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Let me know if you like my picks. Let me know if you're completely against them. Comment who you're going with. And comment if Elia stays lightweight champion, does Charles or Max have a chance? Side question, if Elia obviously stays lightweight champion, that means he has to fight Justin. So who are you guys taking in that fight? Are you rolling with Justin, rolling with the momentum to finally get the undisputed title? He's a two-time interim champ, which is crazy. First and only. Um, except Tom Aspinall defended his interim championship, which was kind of interesting. But yeah, I don't know. I hope Max can get back to that belt, man. The BMF is sick, but I want that blessed train to get the championship belt again. Let me know how you guys feel. Peace.